Good evening po. Welcome to LIRA in Law, and thank you very much for joining me for our usual Thursday evening get together. No, from 7:30 onwards, talking about legal issues that concern you. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Ang pangalan ko po, Lira Simon Kabatbat of Douglas Simon Solicitors. Thanks again for joining me. No, it's and I hope you'll be able to stay the length. Gosh, lots of things happening in the world nga, no? And of course, our thoughts and prayers to our kababayans, no, in the Middle East. I hope you're safe and you keep safe, no? It must be a very difficult time nga. So, as I say, thoughts and prayers sa kanila. Now, ang topic po natin ngayon, we have lots of topics nga ngayon, but of course, we also chose, so I chose nga our star question. And it is, for want of a better description, it's a hot topic. And it's actually quite a difficult topic. Then they're potentially different. The facts may differ, and of course, on that basis, solutions will likely differ. And and tactically, there may be things na kailangan yung pag-isipan muna before you make an application. But never want to shy away from difficult topics. Ang topic po natin nga ngayon is regularizing your leave to remain in the United Kingdom. No? Let me read to you yung question nga. And salamat po to the viewer who posted nga the question. So let me just read that to you. So ito po. So star question natin. Gusto ko lang po sanang humingi ng advice, no? Ano po kayang pwede kong gawin sa sitwasyon ko? Ang asawa ko po ay British citizen, pero wala po siyang plano na kunan ako ng visa. May anak po kami at kasalukuyan na po akong overstay dito sa UK, no? Sobrang stress na po sa sitwasyon ko. Ano po kayang pwede kong gawin, no? Maraming salamat po. Now, let me just summarize that out in English for those of you who may not necessarily speak Tagalog. So, our viewer is looking for some assistance. She is, it seems, married, or at least has a partner who is British. She no longer has leave to remain, so she's an overstayer. And she now wants to know what she can do. It seems that her British citizen husband has no plans in helping her become regularized in the United Kingdom. They have a child together, okay? And she's obviously, understandably, stressed about the whole situation. So she's asking, what can she do? And she says, no, thank you for assistance. Now, it's a difficult topic because, as I say nga, it's maraming iba-ibang sitwasyon nga. And with this topic, along with all the other topics we're going to discuss today, and previous topics nga, nothing beats one-to-one legal advice. It's much better to have that. So alam mo yung sitwasyon mo, sasabihin mo sa abogado nga, ang payo nila specifically to your case, because it could be, it's very likely, given that we have limited time, and of course nga ito, you have also the facts presented nga are limited too, no? So kung ganitong sitwasyon nyo, and anything else, even if at first it looks like it's simple nga, no? Nothing beats legal advice, independent legal advice. So see if you can make an appointment nga on a fixed fee basis. So it's so at least you can get a better idea, an idea of really what to do. But as I say, never want to shy away from difficult topics. Ito po ang topic natin nga ngayon. Itong star question nga natin. Topic po natin ngayon is regularizing your leave to remain in the United Kingdom. So it's going to be quite jam-packed, no? And I hope nga that I know this is a scenario nga that may be relevant, that affect quite a few people. So I'll go through it nga and hopefully be able to at least point you in the right direction as to where to start. So yun po ang topic nga natin ngayon. And thank you very much for putting that forward. Dahil I can only imagine na mahirap nga mahirap nga isulat to, no? Na aminin mo ito yung sitwasyon na may problema ka. So it's salamat po ulit, no, for having the courage and making the time nga to ask the question. So yung pong topic natin and start question nga natin. Hindi lang yun, no? We're also going to be talking about ways of challenging a refusal nga. So in this case, administrative review. So usually yung topic po natin, appeals, no? But administrative review in this case, pag-usapan din nga natin Inheritance Act, no? Inheritance, kung namatay yung asawa nyo, but anong kailangan nyong gawin. So all those things, spousal rules, no? Changing over something like something work visa to a spousal rule, pwede ba yun, no? So marami po tayong topic nga ngayon, and so it's going to be jam-packed. To that end, we're going to take just a quick break. Balik tayo, saglit nga lang, and then we're going to launch into our topics. All right? See you tomorrow. Welcome back to LIRA in Law, and thank you very much for joining me again. Ang pangalan ko po, Lira Simon Kapatbat. Abogado po ako dito. I am a solicitor of, 34 years. I know, 34 years post-qualification experience. So that does not even include the training and the study. And if you add those training and study, which is some 6 years, it means that I have been in law for nearly, in fact, 4 decades, a long time. But as a qualified solicitor, post-qualification experience, it's 34 years as of February. Gosh, what an anniversary not to have, no? So it's I'm passionate about the law, particularly immigration nga, and that's our topic for tonight nga. So kung meron kayong mga questions, pahabol, no, hindi pa kayo nagpapadala, not too late, email me. Okay, and for those of you who think who want to make follow-up inquiries after I've dealt with your questions nga, email me, and then I'll see if I can also send you some links. And in fact, with some, I will be asking for your email because I would like to send you some links, no? Now, topic po natin, as I've said, is regularizing your leave to remain in the United Kingdom, no? Now, ang background po, yung viewer natin, so nandito siya, overstay na nga siya, meron siyang asawa, Briton yung asawa niya, meron silang anak, no? Pero walang plano yung asawa na tulungan siya, no? So, understandably, na-stress na nga siya, anong pwede niyang gawin, no? And it is unfortunately not a scenario that is uncommon. No? It's something I come across, frankly, too regularly, and it shouldn't be. No? Now, so yun po ang sitwasyon. So topic po natin, as I say, is regularizing your leave to remain, specifically with this kind of situation. So ang unang-una, the question that comes to mind immediately is why is he not helping you? Why is he actually, if you like, deliberately, no, say not helping you? Dahil sabi mo nga, no, wala siyang planong magtumulong nga sa'yo. So why is that? No? So you have to be concerned. I certainly am, no, about his commitment nga to you. And what's the reason behind that? Now, in some cases, I'm not saying na ito nga ang problema sa'yo, no? But in some cases, it could be that it's his way of coercive behavior. So, ibig sabihin ayaw kanyang tulungan dahil kung wala kang visa, hindi mo ibig sabihin baka akala niya hindi mo siya sasagutin, no? Hindi ka hindi ka magiging problema sa kanya, no? Dahil wala kang visa dito. Now, if that's the case, kung ganun ang ugali niya, then it could be that one route open to you would be the domestic violence route. Now, kahit hindi ka nga physically binubugbog. So the domestic violence route can also include coercive behavior. So a client actually described it to me not too long ago. Sabi niya, it's mental torture. No? And I think that's probably quite an apt way of describing it. No? So kung ganun sitwasyon, so sinasabi niya sa'yo, hindi kita tutulungan, no? Dahil he's belittling you, ganon. It could be that actually is coercive behavior. If it qualifies as coercive behavior, and you would need to prove it to the Home Office nga, for example, if there are police records nga, or maybe something from the doctor, ganon. If you prove that successfully, then under the DV route, the domestic violence route, then ang bisang bibigay sa'yo, in fact, is indefinite leave to remain, settlement status immediately. But they will want proof. You can't simply make the allegation and that's it. No? They will want proof that indeed you have been subjected to domestic violence. So that's one possibility. Now, another possibility, sabi mo, meron kayong anak, no? Is to make an application based on that relationship. So family route, but based on that relationship. So basically, hindi siya kasama, no? So you're making an application without his support. Kailangan mo lang explain bakit, no? And if the situation is hindi ka nga niya gustong tulungan dahil you think nga na ganon, ibig sabihin under desire ka, no, as we would say nga in Tagalog, or something else untoward, yeah? Then that's the reason why you want to be able to apply, you wish to regularize your stay in the UK because you want to, of course, stay with your child in the United Kingdom. Now, dahil British nga siya, yung anak mo, pinanganak siguro siya dito, then automatically, I would imagine British din yung anak mo, no? So you need to emphasize nga that your child is British, you're at the moment living with the father, maybe, no? But at the moment, you don't also know where that relationship is going, no? Because you're probably wondering how committed is he to you. So it will be an application under the family route on the basis that you're the parent of the British citizen, no? But yung titignan nga nila exceptional circumstances. Just because your child is in the UK or indeed a British citizen in the United Kingdom, hindi po ibig sabihin na automatic na mabibigyan ka ng visa. You still need to be able to show that indeed there are exceptional circumstances, no? And that it would be unreasonable to expect your child or the child to leave the United Kingdom to go, say, to the Philippines to pursue, continue family life nga there. Not least because, okay, he may be a bad husband, but maybe he's a good father. No, it can also happen. Now, so you can still therefore make an application based on your relationship with your child. Yung nga lang, of course, yeah, it would be better if he's also able to help, but if he's not going to help, then you may need to take this step. So you have potentially two routes available to you. Now, depends also on how old your child is. Now, the younger child is, the more likely the Home Office may conclude that you can bring your child back with you, no? Potentially. No? But of course, that means separation from the father. So that's also one thing to for you to put forward nga, no? That, as I say, it could be that he's not a great husband, but he may be a good father, and you don't want to have you wish for your child to continue with that substantial relationship kung ganun nga ang sitwasyon. So, you can potentially look at those two routes. Pero unang-una, I think you should see um, a solicitor. Okay? You should perhaps also see your doctor. Dahil sabi mo nga dito, sobrang stress mo na, no? Dahil sa sitwasyon mo. You are allowed to register with a doctor kahit wala kang visa. In fact, primary care, so that is care provided at your GP surgery, you can get on the NHS. You don't need to pay. No? Kahit wala kang visa, they should register you nevertheless. And I think in your case, it's probably a good idea to do so that you can also masasabi mo sa kanila anong sitwasyon mo, and maybe an idea to I don't know if they would prescribe nga some medication or kaya some kind of therapy, no? And also it would be good to have that to be able, to ensure nga that you're well, not least because you want to, you need to be well for your child, but also it may be helpful later on as evidence nga na, you're not making it up, the stress that you've encountered because a year ago you already saw your doctor. 6 months ago you were prescribed medication, or 3 months ago you were prescribed therapy, for example, and all that is potentially evidence for the domestic violence route you're on. So there are potential routes nga, pero unang-una, I would strongly suggest that you, in fact, see a solicitor, no? Kung nag-aalala ka na about fees, then most solicitors would have what's called a fixed fee interview, or indeed some may even practice legal aid. But you don't have to have pots and pots of money, no? At the outset, you can just see, okay, ano bang pwedeng mangyari. So definitely the DV route, the domestic violence route, is something also to consider. That you have to question, bakit ganitong ugali niya? No? What's behind that? And sometimes, as I say, it's because he may think that you're more compliant, no? Kung wala kang status. Unfortunately, I've come across situations like that also. So it's seek advice, and you may find actually there are things you can do about it. But especially nga ngayon, with the way immigration is going, I suspect you're very stressed. So start off with making inquiries. Make the inquiry, see a solicitor, and hopefully they'll be able to point you in some direction, the right direction as to what to start. Look, kung solicitors should be frank, and generally I rarely come across any legal reps who are not frank, and if they're not, they should be. No? So sasabihin nila sa'yo, meron ka bang pag-asa? No? Ano bang itong sitwasyon na to, may solusyon ba? Ano bang problema dun sa mga solusyon? Because of course, there are risks potentially in taking certain routes. No? And it could also be, kung prangka sila, like everyone should be, they would say also, wala pag-asa. No? And sometimes it's a question, what I come across is, mga kliyente ko, they say, no, even knowing bad news, na wala silang magagawa, is better than not knowing. Okay? And oftentimes, the stress comes from not knowing. Actually, you said that, no? Sobrang stress ng sitwasyon ko. Dahil hindi mo alam ng magagawa mo, hindi mo alam kung pero kang magagawa nga, no? So, I would strongly suggest that you seek independent legal advice. Okay? Good luck. Do let me know kung anong nangyari, anong sitwasyon nga, because truly it's like reading a book and then you never see what the end. So keep me informed. You have our emails, no? Keep me informed. So hopefully that's of some assistance to you. All right. Now, let me just see. We have lots more questions. Oh, by the way, I also want to update you on the home office fees. They are going up. Well, one fee is actually going down, and I'll tell you which one shortly. Now, let me just see. Let's do some. Let's do the batian muna, because we have quite a fair few questions, and so I don't want to be rushing the questions. So, And of course, don't want to also rush the bati. Ano? Egay, the great guy from London, sabi niya. Happy Thursday to Attorney Lira and to the viewers. I worked in Canary Wharf today. Happy Eid. Happy Eid to our Muslim brothers. Why? Happy Eid, yeah. Good news, Attorney Lira. Ambassador of Tap Tap Send remittance app. Use Egay the Guy, okay? My Egay the Guy as promo code for first-time users. Looking forward to lots of learning again and to Attorney Lira's lovely voice, Egay the Guy, Egay the great guy. Egay, you should follow because he's a very clever chap. And he's also very, yung mga questions niya, you'll notice if you I'm sure you know, if you are a frequent, regular listener, nga, question niya, he has very astute questions nga. So nice to hear from you, Egay. Egay, the great guy. He's very modest. He doesn't say the great guy. Miss Rafael. Oh, we all love Miss Rafael. And she's feeling good because she's writing me in caps. Hello, good evening, Attorney Lira, and everyone. Happy Thursday and enjoy watching. Kamusta po, Miss Rafael? Are you well? Are you in Wimbledon? Miss Rafael lives in the iconic London area of Wimbledon, where the tennis happens every year, and every time actually Wimbledon has happened, for my recollection, it's always been raining. Isn't that weird? Yeah. David Calixto II, hailing from the Philippines, no? Sobrang helpful ng topic niyo ngayon. Oh, sabi niya. Good morning po. Because it's morning, of course, madaling araw sa Pilipinas, no? Learning again from another episode. Salamat po. It's always lovely to have viewers, not just from the UK, and you're of course very welcome nga, no? But it's also quite nice to have viewers from the Philippines, no? Madaling araw nga lang sa ating nga ngayon. So thank you very much for staying. You either a night owl, so you haven't gone to bed, or you're just waking up really early. Miss Nadella, hello, Attorney Samia. Hello, Madam. Are you well? I think last time, sabi mo, may sakit ka, no? Are you better? I hope you are, no? Miss Nadella is, she's one of the happiest people I know, actually, Miss Nadella. Always pleased to see her because she's such a happy person. I hope you're well. Now, kung meron kayong gusto niyo akong kamustahin, you have some questions, it's not too late, no? Post your questions and certainly say hello. Alam niyo ang paborito ko to. But now, we have lots of questions, so let's go to the questions nga. So let me just have a look. Let me have a look at our questions. So, hi po, sabi niya. Tanong ko lang po, nag-apply po ako ng child-dependent visa. Na-refuse. Okay. Na-refuse at nag-apply ng administrative review. Paano po bang process nito? May option po na mag-submit ng additional documents sa administrative review at gaano po katagal bago lumabas ang result? This is a great question, no? Dahil usually pinag-uusapan natin is appeals, how the deadline for appeals, what to watch out for appeals, the process nga for the appeals, and what applications may or may not lead to appeals. But administrative review is not really something that I've dealt with often, no? But it is a way, and sometimes the only way of challenging a decision. So pag-usapan natin to, administrative review, ano bang ibig sabihin? Now, there's the big difference between administrative review and appeal. Okay? So an appeal is, it looks at the substantive reason, or reasons sometimes, so for the refusal. When you appeal also, normally you can elect an oral appeal or a written appeal. Most of my clients elect, and I advise often that it should be an oral appeal. So makikita yung judge, makikita rin kayo, no? So you have witness statements, so sasabihin nyo doon why it is that perhaps, on the human rights aspect, Article 8, right to family, private life, that the Home Office made a mistake, or so they can look at, and they do look at the substantive reasoning behind the refusal, no? And in some, if your appeal is successful, then the judge may say, well, you effectively that the appeal was successful, and therefore you should then get a visa. Now, Administrative review and the other one is called judicial review are quite different. But let's focus on administrative review. Administrative review is a process whereby the Home Office decision is looked at again by the Home Office to see if they've made errors as regards process. So they're not looking necessarily at any human rights aspect. Well, they don't actually. They're looking at the process. Nagkamali. Did they look at the right documents? Did you submit the document and they didn't look at it? No. Did they miss something out? No. Did they calculate the points properly if it's under the points-based system? So you normally usually you can tell if you're going to get right of appeal or administrative review between the two. If you have a choice, and normally you don't, it's better to choose an appeal because the court will have a wider jurisdiction, and of course it's the court, it's the tribunal that looks at the refusal. Now, whereas here you have a Home Office looking at the Home Office. The only proviso is they say it cannot be the same person that refused it, which makes sense. So basically, someone else from the Home Office will look at it. So so administrative review is usually where, say, the sponsor in this case does not yet have indefinite leave to remain. So I would guess ng sitwasyon mo, nandito ka based on work, no? Tapos gusto mong kunin yung anak mo, nagpasok kayo ng application, na-refuse yung application. The way to challenge, because you have a work visa rather than, say, indefinite leave to remain, is sabi nila administrative review only rather than an appeal. Okay? So that's probably why administrative review. Now, for administrative review, as I say, titignan nga nila yung proseso. So did the Home Office officer made a mistake on the process nga? Did they look at the right amount that you said ng isweldo mo? No? Did they calculate nga the points, if in this case, if that's applicable nga? So yun. Now, usually, ang kailangan nilang titignan nga nila are the documents that you submitted, which again makes sense. Because of course, rather than any additional documents, because if you give additional documents, why didn't you send that to begin with? In which case, they may have made a different decision nga. So normally they would look at documents nga that they would limit what they look at to the documents you've already submitted, because they are looking at the decision they made based on the documents that were submitted. Okay? In some cases, though, you can add additional documents, especially where it's to do now with what they call part suitability, which is the character. No? Kung gusto mo, padala mo sa akin yung email mo, I will send you the link to the types of applications now, or samples of scenarios where you can submit additional documents. Dahil mahaba but it's quite long. It goes on for 2 pages. So if you want to see that and see if it applies to you, send me your email. Papadala ko sa yung link. Okay. Now, question mo din, how long will it take? Dati, they were saying 6 months. Ngayon, you're probably looking at 12 months. Now, sabi mo, nagpasok na kayo ng administrative review, but kung hindi pa kayo nagpapasok, and those of you who are in this situation, hindi pa kayo nagpapasok, bear in mind deadlines. They're quite strict deadlines. If you miss it, then you're out of time. Then you will then need to request for extension nga. You may not get it. So it's an application online. Okay, administrative review must be made online. The deadlines are 7 calendar days. Okay, so that includes weekends. Yeah, if you're detained under the Immigration Act, hindi yung situation mo nga ngayon. 28 calendar days if a refusal on an application. If it's a refusal on an application for entry clearance. So, kung yung anak mo nasa atin, 28 days. Okay? 14 days if the refusal of an application for permission to stay. Nandito kayo, no? And then and you're not detained. 14 calendar days if a decision to cancel permission or to enter or stay at the border, no? Where person's not detained. So, for example, they're at Heathrow, 14 calendar days. I suspect sa'yo, it's 28 calendar days, but strict 28 calendar days. And normally these decisions are emailed nga, so you'll probably find 28 days from the date of the decision. Okay, so ingat ka. Kung hindi pa nagpapasok, then you should do that. So administrative review, if you think if that's the only option available to you. By the way, you get one chance usually, no, for administrative review. Normally they would you can't ask for second review unless, of course, the review found new reasons why you were refused. No, so it's one review usually. Now it could be also tactically that you may say, well, okay, akong nagkamali, hindi ko pinadala ito, o nagkamaling padala, o hindi nga kompleto. It could also be that you would want to just simply apply again, no? Rather than pursuing the administrative review. An alternative to administrative review is judicial review, for example. But that's much more complex. It means also going to court in due course. But you would need to do the administrative review first anyway before graduating, if you like, to judicial review. So ito. So ang kailangan mong gawin, bear in mind deadline, ha? So kung yung bata nasa atin 28 calendar days, no? Calendar days, no? At saka as I say, you tanong mo, can you submit documents? In some cases you can, generally you cannot. But it's probably best for me to email you the link to the situations where you can, no? And you also need to specify why you think, why you say that actually they made a mistake. No? It's just not good enough to say, can you look it over again? You need to actually specify where you think, no, the error was. No? So you're on. And all else fails, that no, it's not, you accept that actually that's your mistake, then you may want to consider making an application again. But bear in mind, no, kung magpapasok yung panibagong application, yung edad ng bata, because of course kung bata overage na nga, then it could be that you actually want to pursue administrative review and failing that judicial review. Okay? Hopefully that is of help to you. Again, it's probably best for you to seek independent legal advice. Now, I'm sure we have some more questions. So let me just have a look at my next questions now. Now, ito po. Yeah, this one. Hello, hello po. British po ang husband ko. Kamamatay nga lang niya. My condolences, no? May I know po kung may benefits na pwede kong makuha o ma-claim. 8 years na po kaming kasal. Okay. By benefits, I'm taking that to mean rather than public funds, no? It's more to do nga with potentially mana mo. And this actually, I raised, this is a great question. Maiksi nga lang, but it's actually jam-packed with issues, no? So kung nandito kayo, namatay ang asawa mo, sabi mo dito, no? Wala siyang will, no? Wala siyang testamento. Anong magagawa mo? O indeed, meron siyang testamento pero wala ka doon, no? You actually excluded from his will as benefiting. I've come across a few situations like that recently, actually. So, can you do anything? The answer is yes, potentially. Kasal kayo, so you would come under the category of people who can potentially make a claim. The claim can potentially be under the Inheritance Provisions Act 1975. Okay, so basically, sasabihin mo doon, he failed to make reasonable provision for me, and I was his spouse, no, or indeed civil partner nga. And of course, 8 years na kayo. So it's very likely that you potentially would have a claim under the Inheritance Provisions Act. Now, if you made a will and actually the will does not provide for you, then you can certainly make a claim under that. But also, it could be that you say, no, I mean, binago niya yung will niya, no? Dahil inalis nga lang ako, dati nandun ako, binago nga lang niya because she was under duress. Or it could be that he didn't have the mental capacity also to change his will. So there are various possible scenarios. Pero kung yung nga, most of the time, mga tao, they just haven't made a will, or they made a will, but wala kang, hindi nga sinama nga. But if you are a spouse and wala siyang will, then usually it will go to you anyway, your category of people who will benefit nga. And the amount you would get depends very much on whether there are children, magkano estate, ganon, no? So if there's no will, it's that. But if there's a will, you just specifically excluded, then the Inheritance Provisions Act 1975 may help. Now, just on the possibility that when sabi mo nga dito, no, ang mga benefits, it depends on whether your husband, for example, was getting a pension, for example, already, no, and whether he contributed the higher amount of national insurance contributions. So it could be that also if you're a pensioner nga, na mas mataas ng konti, tataasan na ng konti yung pension mo because of that. So potentially. And of course, in the normal course of events, so kung wala kang kung kapos ka nga, wala kang trabaho nga dito, it could be that you wouldn't be entitled to normal public funds, like housing benefit, I think it's still called universal credit. So those things could be available nga to you. Ang payo ko doon, you may want to just go to your local CAB, Citizens Advice Bureau. I don't know if law centers still exist, but CABs, I'm aware, are still around, not very many of them because of funding. So go to them because they're actually very, very good with benefits, no, what you would be entitled to. So, so when you go, bring along your ID mo, passport, for example, nga. You can bring also your husband's death certificate, for example. So dali mo yung mga detalye nga din niya, because it may be that they can help you also make an application. Good luck. Hopefully all goes well, and my condolences again. It's a terrible thing. So now, meron pa tayong mga questions, I am sure. So sandali nga lang po. Okay. Hello po, sabi niya. Magandang gabi. Magandang gabi din. No? Possible pa ba po bang mag-switch ng skilled worker to spouse visa? Di po kasi makapag-provide ng COS. COS stands for Certificate of Sponsorship ng employer ko. No? Kaya I'm planning to change po. For reference, British naman pong husband ko. Salamat po. I like this question because everything is in there. No? Work visa. So hence the cost, certificate of sponsorship nga, inability to provide that because maybe, the sponsorship license has been revoked, or they don't wish to. Spouse application nga, there's a relationship in the United Kingdom and you're looking to vary and extend leave to remain from a skilled worker to a spouse visa. So jam-packed with issues. So tingnan nga natin. Now, so sabi nga niya, question niya, pwede bang mag-switch between from a skilled work visa to spouse visa? Okay? Dahil sabi nga niya, yung employer niya can't provide a certificate of sponsorship. Yun ang kailangan. So kung nandito kayo on a work visa, gusto nyong lumipat, no? Be careful when you do that because of course the rules to do with skilled worker and passcode tier 2, that's all change, huh? The level you need to show in some cases nga is much higher. So if you came into the country, for example, nga as a carer, you're looking to change, you may find that you can't actually change. So ingat nga kayo. So the cost, the certificate of sponsorship, kailangan nyo yun in order to work for the new employer or indeed extend nga yung visa mo. Now, so that that's if you like a secondary issue. They can't or they won't, it's not possibility. Ano pang pwede niyang gawin? Now, British ng husband niya, kasal siya dito, Brito nga yung husband niya. Pwede ba niyang palitan? So, skilled work visa nga siya, and gusto niya, so now she wants to apply potentially as a spouse. The answer is yes, you can. So people with leave to remain in the United Kingdom based on employment can change to a spouse visa. Okay? So ibig sabihin, pagka magpapasok ka ng application, hindi nga lang extension, which is what you would do if it's a skilled under the skilled worker route, if you could getting an extension, but you're also asking for variation, which means change. So you're looking to change and extend the visa. So the application is, of course, under the family route. Kung gusto mong tignan ng batas, it is contained under what's called Appendix FM. Okay. Now, anong kailangan pakita? So let's unpack it a little bit more. So unang-una, you can switch skilled worker as long as you continue to have a visa. Make sure you have your lagamang visa mo, no? You make an application in time, an in-time application. Otherwise, it changes again. Yung batas na titignan nga nila. So an in-time application, a skilled worker to a spouse. Now, anong kailangan mo pakita? You need to be able to show that your income together, dahil nandito ka with a visa, nandito din asawa mo together, because it's a new application, as in an application after the change in the minimum income requirement rules, is so ang income na kailangan pakita jointly is no less than £29,000 per annum before tax. So, ibig sabihin, kung ang income mo, sabihin natin, hindi nga sapat, so hindi naabot 29,000, but let's say 20,000, ang income ng asawa mo, sabihin natin 10,000, together, it satisfies because it's £29,000 before tax, no? Because you're earning then £30,000. If you're earning already £29,000, then, of course, satisfy anyway. Kung asawa mo, £29,000, then great, because again, that satisfies the minimum income requirement. Now, kailangan mo din pakita that you have a level of English at least A2 level. And now, kung dumating ka dito based on work, you would have that, no? Because you probably had to undertake a B1 test, for example. It could even be B2 if it's fairly recent nga. But certainly you would satisfy. So A2, ang kailangan mo na A1, A2 because you're making an application in country. Unless you can show you already completed that because you satisfied that because you have a higher level, which may be B1 as I say, or indeed B2. Now, kailangan mo din pakita there's accommodation. So the financial requirement has two prongs, no? There's the accommodation and there's financial. The financial, as I've said, is 29,000 nga. The accommodation is exactly that. Now, hindi nyo kailangan na sa inyo yung bahay, hindi nyo kailangan malaking bahay. It's enough to have, say, one room, as long as it's one that is occupied by just the two of you. It'd be a bit weird if it's occupied by someone else too, no? But anyway, so yon. And it can be rented. It could be a studio. It could be a bed sit. It could be a flat. But it should be it should be ideally in both your names. But even if it's not in both your names, as long as it's you can still rely on it as long as it's accommodation that you can use and you have permission so to use. So as I've said, financial requirement to include accommodation, the English language, minimum level A2, okay? And of course, that your relationship is indeed genuine, no? Now, hindi mo sinabi sa akin dito how long you've been together, but to some extent, it doesn't really matter because if you're married, the presumption is the relationship is genuine, okay? So, and yung asawa mo nga, British naman siya, so clearly has settled status nga in the United Kingdom. So, all of those things, now, dahil nandito ka, you don't need a TB test, of course. Yung kailangan mo lang kung papasok ka from the Philippines into the United Kingdom. So, all those things you need to be able to show, no? And there's a fee. Now, it's going up, the fees. Okay, and I'll tell you what that is in a moment, but there are two fees that you need to pay. There's IHS fee, Immigration Health Surcharge, which is calculated at 2.5 years. And then there's the Home Office fee, which is changing as of the 8th of April. So, 3 weeks' time, okay? I'll tell you what they are in a moment. Tataas nga for most applications. So, those things you need to be able to provide nga to the Home Office. Make sure you make an in-time application, and the application will be based on your family route nga as a spouse. Yung nga kailangang pakita that you're looking to vary and extend, your leave to remain, but be ready with the fees because they're much higher than under the skilled worker route. Okay, good luck. Hopefully that's hopefully you get it. And again, keep me informed. Let me know, because I truly am interested. Now, let me just on that note, let me tell you about the fee changes. Okay, fee changes po natin. Now, it's gonna go up from the 8th of April. So we are now, ano tayo ngayon? The 18th? The 18th of April ba tayo? 19th. Thursday the 19th of March. No? So 8th of April tataas. So if you're making an application, you're looking to submit an application and you're ready now, then make the application now and save yourself some money. Okay. I don't know whether the IHS fees are going up. I hope not. But at the moment, what's been posted by the Home Office is this. The fee categories. I will post all the fee categories and how they're going to go up on our Facebook. So after tonight nga, sometime tomorrow makikita nyo where the fees are changing. When? I'll tell you exactly when, which is the 8th of April nga. But what categories are going up? There's one fee that's going down. I know that's that never happens. So the nationality registration as a British citizen child. So kung meron kayong anak, they're making an application to register. Currently, the fee is £1,214, 1214, yeah, is going to go down by £214. So it's going to go down to £1,000, which is great. Actually, I have a couple of clients where I may advise them actually to delay because they can until after the 8th of April so that they may, they save themselves some money. £200 or £214. So that's the good news. The bad news is all the other categories are going to go up, likely. No? Well, most of the ones that I deal with anyway. So leave to remain, okay? So at the moment, ang fee po is £1,321. It's going to go up from the 8th of April to £1,407. So an increase of £86. Indefinite leave to remain, main applicant and dependents. No, at the moment it is the sum of £3,029. From the 8th of April, it's going to go up to £3,226. So a fee change, an increase of £197, clearly nearly £200. No? Naturalization, so kung gusto you have indefinite leave to remain at the moment, settlement status na in the UK, you want to apply to become naturalized. From the 8th of April, the current fee of £1,735 is going to go up to £1,839, a fee change increase of £104. No? So most are going to go up. There's one category that's going down. That's nationality registration of a British citizen child. So 1214 goes down to an exactly £1,000 from the 8th of April. And I know I'm going to be making a couple of calls tomorrow to some clients who may be able to make some savings. So it's £200, no? £214. So I may actually say to them, consider whether we want to delay the application to the 8th of April. If you're watching, you know who you are. Expect a call from me tomorrow. Now, so bear that in mind. But I will post that. No, I'll post that. Now, I don't know if we have any other business. Let me just check. Yeah. We have some more greeters. Miss Jones, sabi niya. Marilyn Jones, Miss Jones, I have known for, nearly all the time that I've been in practice, no? So I think, at least 20 years, no? Diba? At least 20 years tayo magkakilala. You're probably looking at 30 years, really. Happy Thursday evening, sabi niya, Attorney Lira, and all viewers. Happy Thursday evening po. Madam, hopefully you're well and you're still practicing the dance moves. Say hello to your lovely sisters, huh? They're lovely. Miss Rafael, I'm fine, sabi niya. I'm watching from home in Wimbledon. Oh, that's nice, Miss Rafael is lovely. She really, really is. And Wimbledon is great. She's, as I say, it's truly iconic. When you're abroad, if you said no, you live in Wimbledon, or if you just say Wimbledon, nga, immediately, as has been, tennis, huh? No, tennis. So she's very lucky. May Tigbao Vargas. Hello, May. Hello and good evening, sabi niya, Attorney Lira. And to all the viewers, happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Thursday po, madam. Are you well? I hope you... It's kind of spring now, no? Hindi na ganong malamig, pero hindi na ganong malamig. Hindi na ganong malamig. But at least hindi na nga umuulan. Not that I'm necessarily complaining, no? Sabi ni Egay, the great guy from London, I'm inside the Northern Line tube. Oh, yeah, I'm listening to you. Oh, he's lovely, no? It looks like there are new laws with regard to indefinite leave to remain who are now in the UK. I'm not sure, just saw a post. Yeah, there will be changes to indefinite leave to remain. Absolutely. Tama ka, Egay, no? Actually, next week, ang topic po natin is changes, no? The ones that have so far been the ones that are going to be introduced, so earn settlement. I hope you're okay, no? Sa Northern Line nga, it's not the actually it's better now, the Northern Line, than it was when I was taking the Northern Line. Edgar Duay, the lovely Edgar Duay. I always say this, pero itong picture mo, Edgar, it's like James Bond, no? Maayong gabi. Maayong gabi sa inyong lahat, and to the ever romantic, intelligente, abogada, Lira C. To Ma'am Cora Emolin, Oliver, Analu, Darmin, Edgardo Dicay, and Edgardo Dicay, and Rudy Librojo. Yeah, I have not heard, for example, from Rudy for ages. No, sabi mo sa kanya, if you're in contact sa kanya, the Librojo clan, sabi mo, no, namimiss ko siya, no? Say hello, no? Say hello. We're watching while dining at Nando's. Talaga? Oh, how lovely. Craving for chicken liver with spicy rice. I know, right? Yeah. Sana kain. Yeah. Oh, attorney, sabi niya, no? Bago mag-show. No, hindi pa ako kumakain, Edgar, hindi pa ako kumakain, unfortunately. But no, kakain ako mamaya. But enjoy your Nando's. I do like Nando's. Tama ka, ako nga din, no? Chicken liver with, especially the spice. Ako, my paborito ko, yung maanghang. It's the hottest version. Ikaw nga din. No? So it's look, speaking of eating, I would like to now, I tell you what, I'm off to have my dinner soon, no? Hopefully, if you haven't had your dinner, that you will have your dinner now. Now, salamat po. It's always a pleasure to be with you, and salamat again, no, for taking your time and messaging me whilst you're having dinner, no, whilst you're having your family, whilst you're traveling on the tube, o kaya na you're in the Philippines, no, madaling araw nga. Salamat po. Greatly appreciated. I hope you will do it again next week, no? Because of course, our usual get-together Thursday. It just leaves me to say, salamat po uli sa inyong lahat na sumusubaybay. Salamat po sa Facebook groups for allowing us to post our contents on their pages nga, and our prayers and thoughts to our kababayans in the Middle East. I hope you are well, you keep well. I hope you can join me again next week, no? Same time, same place at LIRA in Law. See you then.